Sleep, that quiet, unassuming act of closing your eyes and surrendering to darkness, is, in reality, one of the most extraordinary biological marvels that defines our existence. It is the invisible architect shaping your brain, your body, your emotions, and ultimately, your lifespan. Every night, when the conscious mind fades and the world around you blurs, your brain comes alive, performing a symphony of repair, renewal, and transformation. Yet, in our modern world, where hustle is glorified and rest is seen as weakness, we've built a culture that trades sleep for productivity, not realizing that this bargain robs us of clarity, creativity, and years off our life. Sleep is not simply a pause between days. It is the foundation upon which your brain's health and your longevity are built. Without it, your mind becomes foggy, your emotions unstable, your body inflamed, and your cells begin to age prematurely. The science of sleep has now made one thing undeniable. How well and how long you sleep determines how long and how well you live. When you drift into sleep, your brain doesn't power down like a machine going dark. It switches modes. It moves. From the fast, analytical beta waves of wakefulness to the slow, rhythmic delta waves of deep sleep, and then to the vivid, dream-filled theater of REM sleep. Each stage plays a vital role, shaping your memory, learning, emotions, and brain health. During slow-wave sleep, the deepest, most restorative stage, your brain consolidates memories, turning the day's experiences into lasting neural connections. The hippocampus, your brain's memory inbox, transfers data to the neocortex, where long-term memories are stored. This nightly process is how your brain learns, organizes, and makes sense of your world. When you deprive yourself of sleep, it's like never hitting save on your mental files. The brain can't properly record new information, and the result is forgetfulness, poor focus, and cognitive decay. Think about the last time you pulled an all-nighter. You probably found yourself struggling to remember simple things or solve basic problems. That's because the hippocampus essentially shuts down without rest. In contrast, after a full night of sleep, the mind is sharper, your creativity blooms, and problem-solving comes more naturally. Then comes REM sleep, the stage when dreams unfold and your brain's imagination lights up as vividly as if you were awake. REM sleep is where emotional healing and creativity take place. It's the time when your brain integrates emotions and experiences, linking ideas in novel ways. Dreaming is your brain's way of defragmenting, processing memories, soothing emotional pain, and preparing you for tomorrow. In fact, during REM sleep, the stress-related chemicals in your brain, particularly norepinephrine, drop to their lowest levels, allowing you to revisit emotional experiences safely. That's why, after a good night's sleep, yesterday's problems often feel less painful. It's as though the brain runs an emotional detox each night, scrubbing away the sharp edges of your stress. Without REM sleep, however, emotional regulation collapses. The amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm system, goes into overdrive, while the prefrontal cortex, responsible for reasoning and self-control, weakens. This imbalance is why sleep-deprived people are more prone to anxiety, anger, mood swings, and even depression. Over time, chronic sleep loss doesn't just make you tired, it makes you emotionally fragile and mentally unstable. But sleep doesn't just transform your mind, it rejuvenates your body at the cellular level. When you're asleep, your body's repair systems switch into high gear. Cells regenerate, damaged tissues heal, and hormones rebalance. Deep sleep triggers the release of human growth hormone, HGH, a vital molecule that repairs muscles, strengthens bones, and rejuvenates skin. That's why quality sleep is often referred to as nature's cosmetic surgeon. It literally keeps you younger from the inside out. Meanwhile, your immune system becomes highly active, producing cytokines that fight infection and inflammation, Miss a few nights of good sleep, and your immune defenses drop sharply, making you more vulnerable to colds, viruses, and chronic diseases. Over time, inadequate sleep increases inflammation, a silent killer that damages blood vessels, accelerates aging, and sets the stage for heart disease, diabetes, and Alzheimer's. One of the most remarkable discoveries in neuroscience over the past decade is the glymphatic system, your brain's own waste disposal network. This system becomes highly active only during deep sleep. While you rest, cerebrospinal fluid flushes through your brain, washing away metabolic waste products, including beta amyloid, the toxic protein that forms plaques in the brains of Alzheimer's patients. Think of this as your brain's nightly cleaning crew. If you skip sleep, that cleanup never happens, and over time the toxins build up, clogging the neural circuits and killing brain cells. This is why poor sleep is one of the strongest predictors of dementia. It's not just about feeling tired. Your brain is literally rotting from the inside when deprived of rest. Deep sleep is your mind's maintenance mode, protecting you from neurodegenerative decline and keeping your brain youthful and efficient. Sleep also plays a critical role in regulating your metabolism and weight. When you don't get enough sleep, your body's hunger hormones spiral out of control. Ghrelin, the hormone that triggers hunger, rises, while leptin, the hormone that signals fullness, drops. The result? You crave sugar, carbohydrates, and high-calorie junk food. Your brain literally drives you to overeat because it's desperate for energy. To make matters worse, sleep deprivation disrupts insulin sensitivity, meaning your cells can't properly absorb glucose, causing blood sugar spikes and fat storage. Over time, this imbalance leads to obesity, insulin resistance, and type 2 diabetes. Researchers have found that sleeping fewer than 6 hours a night increases your risk of obesity by over 30%. Meanwhile, consistent sleep keeps your metabolism in balance, improves energy efficiency, and supports healthy body composition. Hormones that regulate stress and longevity are also deeply tied to sleep. Cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, naturally peaks in the morning to wake you up and drops at night to help you rest. But when you're chronically sleep-deprived, cortisol stays elevated around the clock, keeping your body in a constant state of fight or flight. This prolonged stress response damages tissues, impairs immunity, and speeds up aging at the cellular level. It also shrinks the hippocampus, the very region responsible for learning and memory. At the same time, sleep deprivation disrupts the production of melatonin, the sleep hormone, which is also a potent antioxidant that protects your DNA from damage. Low melatonin levels are linked to accelerated aging and increased cancer risk. So when you sacrifice sleep, you're not just borrowing energy from tomorrow, you're robbing your cells of their ability to renew and defend themselves. Sleep's impact on longevity is perhaps most striking when viewed through the lens of cardiovascular health. During deep sleep, your heart rate slows, blood pressure drops, and your blood vessels relax. A nightly reset that gives your heart the recovery it needs. But when sleep is cut short or fragmented, this recovery window disappears. Studies show that people who sleep less than 6 hours a night are twice as likely to suffer from heart disease, stroke, or heart attack. Chronic sleep loss thickens the arteries, increases cholesterol, and triggers an overproduction of stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, all of which strain the heart. Even one night of poor sleep can temporarily raise blood pressure and increase inflammation markers in the bloodstream. Over time, this pattern carves years off your life expectancy. The connection between sleep and longevity goes deeper still, right down to your DNA. Inside every cell of your body lie your chromosomes, capped by protective ends called telomeres. These telomeres shorten slightly each time a cell divides, acting like a biological clock for aging. The shorter they become, the older and more vulnerable your cells are. Chronic sleep deprivation accelerates telomere shortening, effectively speeding up biological aging. In contrast, people who consistently sleep 7 to 8 hours a night have longer telomeres, healthier cells, and greater longevity. In a sense, sleep doesn't just make you feel younger, it literally keeps your DNA youthful. Even your brain's ability to stay young depends on your sleep habits. As we age, deep sleep naturally declines, and with it comes memory loss, slower learning, and emotional instability. But studies show that maintaining good sleep hygiene can preserve deep sleep well into old age, protecting your cognitive abilities and emotional resilience. In populations of centenarians, people who live to 100 and beyond, one of the most common traits isn't diet or genetics, but consistent, restorative sleep. They tend to go to bed and wake up at the same time each day, rarely suffer from insomnia, and prioritize rest as a non-negotiable part of their routine.